This is a little study of Venus in action in the horoscope. Venus in the natal horoscope represents how we love, what we find beautiful, and the characteristics of those we are attracted to. She shows what or who we admire and how we show our appreciation and affection. Venus also stands for money and possessions and how we use them when we have them. And her position in the chart also shows how material resources like money and property come to us. And in a female's chart, the condition of Mars should be noted for indications as to what that woman is looking for in her man or in her partner, if he's not a man, as the male principle. Now, I don't have a TV. But usually the radio is on in the background, and you know, anything is likely to attract my attention. But I was listening to reports about the present scandale in La Belle France involving François Hollande, Monsieur le Président, and his partner of 7 years, Valérie Trierweiler, La Première Dame, the First Lady of France. And I already knew from a previous glance at her chart that Valérie is a nonconformist, outspoken Aquarian. And I was curious as to why the report seemed to be saying that she was being very submissive and even mouse-like, forgiving Hollande for his secret affair with actress Julie Gaillet, and offering to take him back if he would have her. Well, actually, probably it wasn't that she was forgiving him for, because she's kind of an open-minded Aquarian. It was probably the secrecy and the betrayal that so shocked her, and that's what she was forgiving him for. So anyway, this got my interest, and I decided to pull out my secret weapon, astrology, to have a look at their Venuses. And the condition, aspects and so on of Hollande's Venus reveals no surprises, as it shows that he prefers feisty, independent, intellectual, in other words airy women, and all three of them. His long-term partner Ségolène Royal, she was a Libran, and then he went on to Valérie, and she's an Aquarian, and now he's got the hots for a little Geminian actress. I say little, she is a Geminian actress called Julie Gaillet. So that's the full set, the royal flush, and of course as a Leo he should have nothing less. But his whole attitude, as per his chart, to the love department is that it's a kind of a game, it's a sport, wherein la chasse, the hunt, is very much more fun than the kill, as it were. And due to Venus's close aspect with Mars, it's probable he's very quick on the uptake, very, you know, he's immediate, he's very immediate and physical. He's probably got a high libido and a reasonable stamina in the bedroom. But his emotions are very well protected and even kept out of it altogether. He's even capable of shutting them down altogether because they are quite sensitive. But he can, if he needs to, just cut them off completely. And that is due to his moon in Capricorn. Now, Valérie's Venus is very different. It's in Aquarius. And there's a strong connection with Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. Now, the last three, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, are transpersonal planets. So if they're connecting to her love nature, Venus, she wants to think bigger with that love nature. She wants to embrace a wider stage. She's thinking in more global terms, more humanitarian, more altruistic. Her love nature wants to put the beloved on a pedestal in her personal life. The object of her affections has to be no less than superhuman, a kind of hero and a gift to the world. And her support for this gift to the world is unquestionable, and her female power will feed him like a flower, surrendering its nectar to the collecting bee. And her affections are stimulated by a highly principled intellect and an individualistic, eccentric style with aspirations to revolutionize society. She will be attracted to someone who more or less fills this brief and her inner child's incredibly powerful need to idealize the father will project the image she desires upon this person. And not only that, she's likely to feel sorry for him. She's willing to overlook just about anything due to Neptune being right down there in her 4th house. Unbeknownst to Valerie, she herself holds all these gifts within her, but somehow she can't see herself directly without using this mirror of the other, which she kind of holds up to herself to reflect back to her her own power, as if it was theirs, but actually it was hers in the first place. And I had a look at her Mars. So Mars is showing a liking for an articulate, imaginative man with inspirational communication skills. Well, you need to have those or be trained in those if you're going to be a politician, haven't you? So then I turned to the chart of Julie Gaillet. I wondered if there was any similarities. And I was interested to find that also her Venus, although more emotional in nature in Cancer, also has the same strong connections with Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto and Uranus. So ditto for the general inclination to worship the beloved in her chart, who can deliver oh so much more than the normal run-of-the-mill mere mortal man. The model for this man is in her chart is powerful. A practical reformer who has God on his side, and but she has got a profound emotional need for a kind of total merging as ever anybody could in a body in this dimension, but a real deep bond, a real merging with the object, a kind of a soul union. That is what she envisages with the object of her affection. Her Venus-Pluto aspect says, I will always need you to give me more and more and more love. I want nothing less than your soul. Because Venus-Pluto can be very intense and possessive and even obsessive. And I had a look at her Mars, and her Mars shows that she will be drawn to an adventurer and a bit of a risk taker. She'll be drawn in like a moth to the flame of very kind of deep, intense relationships, and but she will also be admiring somebody who has a genuine commitment and concern to improve things in his community, no matter how small or big a way. So the player in Hollande may have signed up to a tad more than he expected with this pretty Geminian actress, 20 years his junior. And the relationship will be emotional and turbulent at those times when he is not totally inhabiting or just appreciating the world, the nest, the bubble that she creates to embrace and, some would say, corral and nurture, feed him, whether he likes it or not. And Valerie, whose rose-tinted bubble was burst with a curt 18-word statement that was put out by Hollande to say that he was ending his common life in relationship with her. She came down to earth with the proverbial bump. The almost brutal nature of her dismissal provides quite a contrast to a statement that he made at the beginning of their liaison, when he came clean with his previous partner Ségolène Royal, with whom he has 4 children, and who also he never married, he's reported to have said of Valérie, "She is the woman of my life." But no mere mortal could ever rise to the impossibly high bar Valérie sets for the men in her life, and it's just possible that this cruel blow will be the nasty tasting medicine that she needs to take back her power and begin enacting more of her own potential out there in the world. I mean, she's already a pretty much up there and out there woman. She's been tremendously successful, starting from ground zero with no privileges. She comes from a very lowly background, sort of lived in social housing. Her father was handicapped. Her mother worked at the local ice skating rink as a cashier. You know, Valérie is quite a powerful woman already, and her talents are considerable. But maybe she just needed this kind of kick up the backside, really, to get her to realise that projection, to take back that projection, because actually it's not his, it belongs to her. And what better place to start than to write a book about her life with Hollande and his careerist cronies in their upwardly mobile rise to the top of the heap. Cathartic and therapeutic indeed.